Espinoza, Executive Director of Communications and Marketing for Uvalde CISD. Thank you for being here at today's press conference. We have received an overwhelming amount of requests. It makes it extremely difficult to provide individualized responses. So the intent of today's press conference is to share district information on grade level alignment, security, counseling services, student item pickup, and upcoming updates. Our district continues to collaborate with the ongoing investigation. Therefore, information on the investigation will not be included in today's press conference. I would like to share with you that the district cannot comment on personnel matters. I ask you to be mindful. This is our home, our district, and our community. We are breathing all as one. To share district information, Superintendent Dr. Harrell.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. Good morning. As a district, we continue to grieve alongside our families and extend our deepest condolences. I want to honor our families at this time with support, love, and the commitment to move forward as a district for our students. One of the first things that I want to cover is our grade level alignment as we move into next school year. Dalton Elementary will serve students in pre-K through second grade. This will keep the second grade, who are this past year's first graders, on that campus, a familiar campus with the staff that they're familiar with, as well as the landscape and setting they're familiar with. Flores Elementary will be home to grades 3 through 6. This will allow us to move all of our Robb students together as a cohort and allow us to better meet their unique needs as we move forward as well. There'll be more information coming forward as plans are finalized. Safety and security. Security walks have been conducted and will continue on all campuses. We're in the process of developing a list of actions we can take to strengthen security on all of our campuses. In addition, law enforcement officers have been assigned to each campus during summer school, and it is our goal to hire additional officers to be assigned to each campus for the upcoming school year. Counseling services. Our district will continue to provide counseling support to our staff, families for the foreseeable future. Currently in our summer programs, we have counseling support available for all students on their respective summer school campuses and can be provided by our PAMA-trained counselors. If needed, counselors will refer students and families to community providers for individual or group counseling and therapy. Students not attending summer school may receive counseling support as well. This is provided by Family Services Association, the Children's Bereavement Center, and Region 20 Educational Service Center. These services are located here at Benson, at the Benson Educational Complex, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and through June 30th at this time. There's also a list of counseling resources available on our UCISD website. We have gotten calls about Robb student item pickups. Plans are being made to collect student items from the classrooms at Robb. So parents, please watch for updates with the dates, times, and locations for our families to collect their items. As we move forward through this summer, I will continue weekly updates. We recognize our families and staff have questions that we do not have answers to yet. But beginning next week, I will provide weekly updates to share information with our students, parents, staff, and our community in similar fashion as we have done through the course of this past year. Another question I had this morning coming in was graduation. This morning, we have not had graduation yet for our seniors. We are meeting with our senior leadership team later today and discuss with them the possible options for our graduation ceremony or what that will look like as we move forward. So, at this time, that's all the updates I have. Ms. Anne-Marie, do you have?
Before we take questions for Dr. Harrell, I We're only going to take a few questions. Allow me to remind you. Our district continues to collaborate with the investigation. Questions cannot be addressed in regards to the investigation. Please let me remind you that the district cannot address personnel matters in an open forum. Please keep in mind, this is our home, our district and our community. We are all greedy. We will take a few questions in an orderly fashion on district information for Dr. Harrell. Please raise your hand so I can offer you the opportunity.
Matt Roy, WAI, KBB in San Antonio. My question really is, do you still trust your police chief to handle responses and his duties?
That falls in line with some personnel, and I'm not going to comment on, I cannot comment open for closed forum.
Personnel.
Thank you.
It's not a question about personnel officers.
It's not personnel. You have
Yes,
confidence.
we'll take your question now. Thank you.
Hi, Medea Villarreal with ABC News. Question on some of the security that you just mentioned a little bit ago. A lot of parents have talked about their fears of sending their children back to school. Is the district at this time bringing in any outside help to help calm the fears parents have about security on campuses? That's my first question. And the second question is, do I understand correctly that there may have already been an outside consulting agency helping with security before this incident even happened?
Okay. We have, in our security walks, worked with an outside agency to collect information and put that information together as a working list. So we are currently working with an outside agency at this time.
Was there an agency in place before the incident happened?
We have worked with an architectural firm. I wouldn't really call it specifically for safety and security, but we have worked with an architectural firm that is part of what we look at.
And just to clarify, what was that firm supposed to be doing? My understanding, let me just ask straight out, they were looking at any issues with buildings and whether the buildings were up to date and whether they needed improvements, locks, for example, on outside of doors, things like that.
That has been that's been our most recent walks. That's been the look with that agency.
Okay, thank you. Next question from this side of the room. Right here.
What's the future of Robb Elementary?
Not a little bit loud.
Hello? Okay, turned off.
Close, no, close.
Hello? Hi, we're with Lisa with San Antonio. What is the future of Robb Elementary? That's my first question. And then my second question is related to the locks. What was the last time they were updated or looked at and stuff like that?
So to your first question, Robb Elementary, we will not be going back to that campus in any form or fashion. There will be no school personnel on that campus as we move forward. As far as the future of that site, there are discussions about what that will look like as we move forward as a community. We'll have some community input to help determine what that looks like for our community and moving forward. So as far as the other question, I don't have all that particular information. I know that's been part of the investigation, so when we do have findings in the investigation, I bet that will bring some clarity.
Next question.
Omar Jimenez with CNN. Are the doors for either Robb or schools in general expected to lock when they close, or do they have to be locked manually? That's my first question. And my second question was, there was school communication that went out at 11:43 a.m. that day saying that students and staff were safe inside the school, and as we know, during that time there were shots fired. And my question is, what goes into that communication? Is that a school level decision? Is that a law enforcement decision that would put out that kind of communication?
I'm going to jot those down. A lot of that sounds like it's will be in the investigation and the results for the investigation.
But just generally speaking, even just for schools.
I'm going to wait till the investigation comes out. I'm not going to get into the.
Well, then forget Robb Elementary for a second. Generally, at schools in your district.
We'll have some more updates on safety and security.
Thank you, sir. Next question, right here, gentleman, your lecture.
Following up a little bit on Mr. Menzies' question, this one answers that. Some of those communications came from you. Some of those communications came from you, but to Twitter and Facebook, you signed your name to, saying that students were safe. Where did you get that information?
Thank I'll take the mic now.
You can answer the question.
I'll take the mic
Should
now.
I ask it?
I'll take the mic.
We're going to move on to the next question, Dr. Harrell.
Did you have a question?
I have a question, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Harrell, I just want to thank you for making time to answer our questions today. I'm Morgan Chester with NBC News. I know you can't comment on personnel matters. Can you confirm if Mr. Arenado is still a district employee? And if so, have you communicated with him at all?
That's a personnel question. I'm not going to be able to answer that in a public forum.
And I would like to reiterate my colleague's question from the back regarding where the information was gathered from whenever students were initially said to be safe. Just curious where the information came from when students were initially listed to be safe on the day of the shooting. Doctor, ma'am? No answer.
Dr. Harrell, one more question?
One more question.
Absolutely.
Univision hasn't had the chance to talk.
I think it's making time as well. I'm with the New York Times. Can you discuss at all about Harrell Ramos' sister in school when he dropped out in October? And were you in touch with him? What the school district was asking about that?
Again, that's going to be part of the investigation piece. There'll be more clarity when that investigation information is released.
Why do you ignore the Hispanic media? This has been happening since day one. So let me ask the question.
One more question, Dr.
Sure,
Harrell.
absolutely. And they-
I know you say this is your community and that you're grieving and that we have to be respectful to the families, but this is also our community. This is my audience. We've been talking to the families and everybody that's mourning, and for them, this is not my message. This is their message. They need answers because this is also going to help them in the process of mourning, and they feel the authorities have been hiding and they haven't been straightforward about what's been happening. So when are they going to get more answers and more security? Because I'm sure if it was your child that had passed away or that was in danger, you would be doing the same as these families. And they need answers, please.
Okay. We are still working with the investigative agencies. I know there's some in my office this morning, yesterday, so this investigation is ongoing. I'm not going to be able to speak on what we've been asked or what they have shared at this point. Again, that will come out in the time when those items are released.
So doctor, how can
Thank
you
you so
expect,
very much.
how can you expect how can you expect your community to feel safe going back to school?
Are you satisfied with the status of the investigation right now, sir? Why are you, why are you sending?
We have heard from parents who told us they do not feel safe sending their students back to school, and you have responsibility, sir.
In regards to this family, ran you off